Hello friends, good morning and welcome to my new vlog. I'm back in my fairy shed, which is kind of getting to be almost finished. I've been painting the outside and yeah, I'm hopefully going to finish that soon. Not this week, but very soon. It's been quite a journey. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kate Sanderson and I am an actor. I appear in a lot of indie horror movies and I've recently moved to this house in Essex, which I'm trying to get organised. I'm kind of getting there now. I'm feeling like I'm over the hump and much of my vlogs at the moment are about that. So I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel. It's proving pretty slow, but I must say I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying that weekly process of having to upload content and reflect on what I've been doing and what I'm thinking. So let me now turn around the camera and show you something that I got this week, which is quite cute. And I was completely taken by surprise. So it's not a vast deal, but I found some Emily in Paris sparkling pink lemonade, which I just thought was so cute. It was on sale in Lidl. I guess other people didn't want it, but I love pink. To let you know, it's one of my favorite colors. And I love Emily in Paris. It's a really nice program. And du de cœur. It's kind of making me think of France and, I love going to France, etc., etc. So here, let me bring this down. Here is a slightly un-Parisian, rather naff glass with bows on it that I just got at Home Bargains yesterday. I have a taste for things like this. It's very kitsch. But anyway, I'm going to now pour some lemonade into my glass and then we'll get on with the vlog. Love them both. That even had a kind of a pop when I opened it. Very Parisienne. Okay, that's enough. That looks quite refreshing. Lovely. Cheers, my dears. That is really lovely lemonade. If you see any Emily in Paris lemonade, you should get it. It's lovely. A little more. To summer. Fantastic. Yeah, I hadn't been in Home Bargains for years, and my work took me yesterday to this slightly obscure place, which was lovely, but I had some free time and I went to the shops round about. There was a Home Bargains. So I looked round and I ended up getting some new tea towels. Let me turn around the camera and show you one of my old tea towels and then show you my new ones that I got. Okay, so here is an old tea towel. It's by no means my worst one, but it's kind of, these tea towels have had a lot of wear. I think I will keep these in case there's like a complete flood one day. But anyway, now I got two of these and they came in a pack of two. They were just a couple of pounds. One of them's this lovely sort of, I think lovely sort of subtle striped one. And then another one is just like, it's scalloped at the edge, which I thought was a bit unusual. And then I also got a sort of another set that's kind of similar, but it's got a pink scalloped edge and it's got a sort of pastel checkerboard. So I was really pleased with those and they were very inexpensive, which is good because that's probably what I can afford right now. So I'm going to be tackling my kitchen in the next week or so, or a couple of weeks, and so you'll see when I will put them up in honor when I get that done. Okay, the light in here is not so great this morning, but although I love the very hot weather, it's a bit tough after weeks and weeks of it. So yes, this week I've been really lucky, as you're going to see. I've been able to get headway on my new fence, which after that storm that blew out the boiler twice, there was a big storm when I lived a few weeks ago and my boiler had to be repaired twice. The fence, which admittedly was really on its last legs, and in one bit there was this horrendous big gap with broken boards and everything. It's now, I got new fence posts from B&M Stores, which look very nice, and one wall's gone up, which you'll see, I think, and hoping the other walls will be done very soon too. So that's been great. I've cut down, I feel as if this week all I've done is cut down bushels and bushels of ivy. There's still loads left. It just goes on and on and on. If you've ever cleared up ivy, you'll know the song I'm singing. I've cut down bushels of ivy with the chainsaw. At one point I actually had to take out the crank and uncrank the chainsaw into pieces to clean it because it had got twigs and stuff in it. I mean, I'm so grateful I have that chainsaw, but it's just not the life I thought I'd be living. You know, it's just not what I thought I was going to have. However, I also had hopes that I was going to have to take all those weeds to the recycling centre and all the ivy to the recycling centre myself. There's no way. I mean, it's like a mountain. I'm going to have to pay the council to come again and take the stuff away. Yeah, so it is what it is. This week, cleared up ivy. I've moved furniture out of the way and moved stuff around, and I've bought things to make my life work that I think I did need. I am someone who is inclined to buy some silly things. I did think everything I've bought I'm going to use, so that's good. But it's just been a bit weird. And then of course I've had some work, which was great. Lovely to see my colleagues and work with them, and it was so nice. And of course I went into Home Bargains too, because that was there as well. So that was great. Once again, rediscovering old possessions, finding like photos that were in frames that I packed away when I packed up to move, taking those out. So that's kind of taking me back a bit in time to when I was in my old house and blah, blah, blah. Very nice to be reunited with those things again. And I've had some ideas of stuff I want to do. Let's have another sip of lemonade. Oh, that is delicious. So I'm grateful I can get these things done because, I can just, the money's there. But, it's funny, as I've said before, when I moved into this house, I so much wanted to take the house that my brain just skated over everything that needed to be done. And I just sort of hoped I could patch things up and it would be okay. Like I hoped I could just patch up that hole in the fence. But the whole fence was rotten. It all had to come down. So there you go. I'm still very lucky to be here. And that's all great. So yes, let's now look at some of the stuff I was doing, and you can see what you think. Well, friends, this is sort of the end of an era here, because I think I'm getting the new fence put in tomorrow. Unless it completely pours with rain, this old fence is going and a new fence will be put in, and I think that will be for the best. So yeah, I've not been in the garden for a while. A lot to be done, but I will get on with it. And yeah, that's just a little update about farewell to the green fence. Well, friends, a little update on the pumpkin seeds. They've each grown up a seedling. I did look outside at where the stake was with the outdoor one, and I can't see anything like this. So maybe it's better to start the pumpkin seedlings inside. But these two at least have a seedling, and I will plant them out, I guess, in a few weeks, and we'll just see. I don't know if we'll get a pumpkin, but at least we had a seedling, so that's great. Well, hello again, guys. The fence is kind of half done, so you can still see the old fence, and you can see our lovely new fence on the right hand side. So that looks so much better. The old fence really was in places just falling down. So I talked to one of my neighbours and they're so pleased, and I'm just really glad. And later in the week the rest of it will be done, so hopefully later in the week I will have an update there. I've had to cut down a lot of, let me go over actually. I've had to cut down a lot of ivy, and this is a very, very small amount of the ivy that I've cut down. I'm going to be going back and forth to the recycling centre repeatedly. So here's the little area that I did sort of tidy up a bit. Here's like a gap where I've been removing the ivy, because I just want to make a fresh start. I just want to have a new fence, and the ivy has beauty to it. I mean, it's got texture and it's kind of spooky looking and stuff, and I'm a bit sad about it. I don't like destroying anything, but if you could see parts of the fence, well, maybe you've seen in previous of my videos, they were literally like falling down. I mean, so I think a new one is needed, and that's what we're getting. Okay, hello, you're very relaxed down there, and you've got the lobelias beside you. Okay, I think, oh gosh, there was a few more strawberries and I didn't pick them. Oh well, at least we had some strawberries. Cookie, do you want to say hello? No? Cookie? No, not really. Okay, at least you're comfortable. It's a nice day. So here's my little side entrance, which is now clear. There's just a bit of the old fence here, and then those sheets of plastic I showed you a while ago. I don't know what they're for, but thankfully my friend wants to take them away to use to make a ship, well, to make windows for a ship, so that's great. And it's just, you know, you can just walk through now. And kind of here is where that tree was pulling the gas pipe away from the wall, and it's actually started to grow little shoots again. But I'm going to keep an eye on that tree. I'll maybe have to poison it, unfortunately, but it's not growing up like it did. I mean, it's just unrecognizable. There was all these leaves and rubbish, and now a new fence and a clear pathway, which I'm hoping is going to be symbolic for me. Right. So friends, here's another update. I have a lovely curtain rail, and indeed my Union Jack blind has left the building. Here, it looks a bit grubby actually, but I'm just filling in the paint because obviously I didn't paint here when the blind was there. But then once I've finished the painting, hopefully maybe tomorrow, I will hang up my Laura Ashley curtains that I've got. The window is still a frosted window, and I don't think it's, I mean, maybe it's just perspex on the other side and I could peel it off, but I don't know. Yeah, the window remains, but I will show you when I put up my curtains, and you can see that it's going to be nice. Great. It seems such a long time ago since I was decorating this room, and I was telling you about the Union Jack blind and how I didn't like it. And you know, when the gentleman removed it, it just took him a minute, and you know, it just all takes so long. I suppose part of the trouble when you move to a new place is you have to make contacts of workmen that you like. You know, they're not, it's not like you kind of have your people that you know and you can call upon and everything. It's just, it's a new process. So, okay. Onwards, onwards, onwards. Wow, this window frame is really messy looking. But, okay, we're getting there, we're getting there. It seems such a long time since I worked on the fairy shed. To tell you the truth, other things have overtaken and I've slightly got distracted. And here, if we go around to this side, there used to be that horrible old barbecue and gas bottles here. Well, those have thankfully long gone. But here, it's kind of interesting because our neighbours have demolished their shed, and that's pointed out what a gap we have in this fence, because it was never a good fence in the first place, but that was obviously kind of taking the place of a fence. So it's really coming down. I think I am intending to get a new fence put here as well, but I mean, one good thing is it's quite easy for me to remove this ivy and then paint this side of the fairy shed, because it was months ago I painted the other side. And just, yeah, I think this week this will be my goal, cutting this away and painting this side of the shed, and maybe trying to clear off the roof too. Oh, yikes. It's still got a toupee. Okay. Well, here's the ivy I took away so far from this side bit. And the fence is looking a bit bolder now. And I've got quite a lot of space here to paint the side of the fairy shed tomorrow. So I think I'll just give it a wipe down with a cloth, and then tomorrow I can do some painting. And I just wonder what on earth that yellow thing is there at the back. Okay. With regard to those big yellow things, the gentleman who's doing my fence told me that they are the bumpers for a truck. So I don't know how many bumpers these people had that they'd thrown them in the back of the fence. Maybe they put big sort of macho steel bumpers on instead. Maybe those bumpers weren't cool enough for them. Anyway, that's what those big yellow things were. So that's this mystery solved. Hello, Cookie. You're in your little cat cabin because it's a bit wet. Oh, now you've ignored me again. Can I see you? Oh, Cookie has a little cabin to sleep in when it's wet, but it needs another paint job, I think. But, well, it's useful. Hello, friends. This is it's a slightly bitty day. I think I'm going to go to B&M Stores because I think they might have some of their autumn decor out. And I just think I'd like a little break and look at something cute. So let's go to B&M Stores. Hello friends, welcome to my back room. Like much of my house, it could one day be very nice, but it's very messy at the moment. My books need to be arranged, and I've got this really enormous couch in here. It came with the house, and when I came to this house, I actually slept on it for the first week because my furniture hadn't arrived, and it was very good from that point of view. It's a good couch, but it's really too big for this room. And then when I moved in and I had bookcases put in here, and then obviously I have a bookshelf there. Then this couch, which was already too big for the room, is just far too big now. So to cut a long story short, I've got the Heart Association are coming tomorrow to take this away, and I'm really hoping that they will. Another charity was going to take away some other things I had, and then when they came here, they had reasons why they weren't going to take them after all. Like I had a glass TV stand that the other people had left when they moved out, and they wouldn't take that because it was glass, and they never told me that on the phone, and blah, blah, blah. And this couch is so big, I am concerned that they'll look at it and they'll say they're not taking it. But I did tell them it was a 4-seater couch, so well, we'll just see. We'll see what happens tomorrow when they come. But today I'm going to be focusing on making sure there's a clear passage for them to hopefully pull this out. I mean, clearly this couch got in here. I'm thinking they must have tipped it on its side, although it is quite a broad door there. I mean, it's a double door there. So, yeah. And then if that goes, then I will be next of all kind of tackling this room. This wallpaper to me is really not my cup of tea again, although many people think it's lovely. It's just also, especially with all my books, it's too hectic. So I think I will be removing that wallpaper and just painting it a calmer colour. And I'm organising all my books, putting them into a kind of more reasonable, just categorising them and stuff. And yeah, and so that will be a big job, and we'll just see what happens. So that was a very long, rambly vlog, but hopefully this is a lovely room. I mean, it looks out onto the garden, and one day the garden will look nice. So you can see the fairy shed down there. I'll stop talking and I'll start getting on with that. Okay. So here I've started sort of putting some stuff that was kind of sitting in piles, and here's Cookie. He's moved inside now because the rain was too much for him. Hello, Cookie. Oh, you're ignoring me. Yes, okay. So, yeah, here's the resurrection plant. I read that if you leave them in the water for too long, they can start to rot. So I've let it kind of dry up again now. And then I think when the furniture's gone and I got everything a bit more organised, I'll boof it up again. So there you go. And I'm doing lots of washing and ironing and, yeah. Hello friends, well here's a bit later, and I wiggled that enormous sofa out of there, and then when I got to this doorway that I'm standing in, I found out that it actually unclatches into 2 pieces. Wish I'd known that in the beginning, so it's now there. So yeah, I'll show you the chair. This very comfortable but huge armchair goes with the sofa, and I've not pulled that out yet, but yeah, I'm just really hoping it's the British Heart Foundation. Really hoping that they would actually like the pieces. But if they won't take them, I'm going to put them out in my front yard and get Veolia to take them away, because I just don't have room for them, and I need to get on. Okay, fingers crossed for tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Well, friends, the British Heart Foundation came and they took my sofa from here and the armchair, and yeah, it's bizarre. That's a lot of space. And now obviously it falls to me to get this room to being the way that I want it. I don't have the excuse anymore that there's no room to get past. But I'm glad that I took the time to move the sofa out into the hallway and kind of get it ready to go, because it was quite a job, and I don't know if they would have taken that time, but maybe they would have done. Anyway, it's 2 things have gone now. I'm a bit sad because it's kind of the end of the beginning in a way, because yeah, I've been in this house now 6 months, and as I say, the people behind, I asked them to have those things, but they were too big, and yeah, the beginning is over, and I'm now into life here, which is good. Yeah. Hello again, friends. One thing I said I'd do this week is tell you my review of Bright Lights Prairie Dust, I should be looking over there, the memoir autobiography of Karen Gressle, who was Ma in Little House on the Prairie. Well, as I think I indicated last week, I found this book just unputdownable. She was so honest. Really, I mean, she could have so easily done a very cutesy kind of only showing the nice things book, because she's had a lot of success in her life as an actor, some lovely things. She could have spun this to be all kind of good stuff. But what she describes is kind of sad, but it's very interesting. She describes how when she got the part of Ma in Little House on the Prairie, big role in a big series, you know, basically it's almost determined to be a hit. And when you've been in a hit TV show as an actor, you should really always have some money in the bank and some food on your table, which is what actors all dream of. But it seems like when she got the part of Ma, that her problems were only kind of beginning, because she had to really fight for her position in the program. And also she seems to say that the first year was nice, it was all very good, but during the second or third year she had to renegotiate her contract, her money. And Michael Landon, who played Pa in Little House on the Prairie, I'm sure everyone knows who he is, but I'll try and pop in a picture of him here if I can. He really tried to get her to accept a very low salary offer. He was also the producer and the boss of the show, and he always took pride apparently in bringing in productions ahead of schedule and under budget. And he himself obviously worked very, very hard, made a great deal of money on Little House on the Prairie, but he was offering Karen Gressle a really small amount of money comparative to other actresses and hit TV shows at that time. And she didn't know what to do, because apparently when this happened, the number she negotiated with them was also going to affect her syndication, her repeat fees for the rest of her life. So the negotiation of this figure was very, very important. And they were offering her a low figure. And she just said, well, no, I'm not doing that. And Michael Landon really was angry, and he turned on her. I'd always thought he was like a tough person, but overall a very nice person. But he really kind of shunned her on set, and would make sort of rude comments about female genitals and their smell, and really make her feel creepy. And the awful thing was also that everybody on the set sensed that she was, you know, in the doghouse, and they also kind of shunned her. Even the child actors, they sensed she was not popular with Michael Landon, and they stepped back from her as well, which was very, very lonely and painful. And also when Michael Landon would make these kind of nasty jokes and stuff, everyone would laugh along with him. And apparently years and years later, obviously when they were doing their reunions and everything, she met up with some of the crew, and some of them were crying and saying, you know, you were such a lady and a professional. You know, when things were nasty, you just went to your dressing room and you got on with your job and were completely prepared. And that was amazing, and we're so sorry. Because Michael Landon was pretty ruthless. I still admire him in many ways, and I do like him. Of course, I don't know him. I like my impression of him. I like it. But yeah, he was tough, and she did eventually get her money. They settled. One thing he said to her was, well, Ma is not the most popular character in the show, so for that reason you don't deserve to have the amount of money you want. And she said, well, yes, but my part is an intrinsic bit of the show. I mean, people expect me to be there, so that in itself is important. She agreed she wasn't the most popular character. And yeah, so she eventually got her money, but it was very, very painful, really lonely and stressful. And yeah, I think it affected her drinking. She drank too much alcohol and had health problems, and it just sounds miserable, like, oh. And then she made another movie about battered women, and Michael Landon intervened with the network to put it on at a less good time, because he said he didn't really want people to see it because it would confuse their impression of her as Ma. And so he did that as well. It seems like they oh yes, and another thing he did was, she apparently every season was supposed to have 2 episodes in which the plot was about her and she was the main character in it. I don't know what the jargon for that would be in TV, but that's what she was supposed to get. Came to the last season they were doing, and the episodes were going down and down and down, and then the last episode came, and although she had a part with quite a lot of lines, it was not about her. The plot was not about her character. And she said to him, well, this is not what my contract stipulates. You know, the plot is supposed to revolve around me. That's my contract. And he said, well, count up the lines. You have enough lines, so you've got no legal case to complain. And I think the thing was coming to an end, and she saw there was really no point arguing. I mean, he was the absolute boss. And so she said, fine. And then the final 2 episodes he made starring himself and his son, and it was all about him. And it was just sort of sad. Thankfully, towards the end of his life, because Michael Landon died really young of cancer, he contacted Karen Gressle and they patched things up, talked things over, and I think that they made friends again, thoroughly put the past behind them, and that's really lovely and a real grace. So that was good. But Karen Gressle's book, it shows a picture of 70s television and how it was really a man's world. And I think it was. I worked a little bit in television in the 80s in Scotland, but it was definitely a man's world, and you were to be grateful for the bit that you had. They of course needed actresses, but I think their position was very, very secondary. And as I say, you had to be grateful for, anything, because it's a very competitive world. Yeah, but it's just, so yeah, very, very interesting book. I mean, whether you're interested in Little House on the Prairie, whether you're interested in theatre of the 1970s, 80s, 90s, because this lady's a theatre actor too, or whether you're interested in television in the 1970s, 80s, it's very, very interesting. The story kind of ends with her sort of 3rd marriage, and she had a lovely house in Beverly Hills, and what Karen Gressle hints at is that she ended up getting divorced from this husband, unfortunately, and she settled somewhere else, so I guess she didn't stay in that lovely house that she describes. And then she doesn't really talk about the rest of her life. She there's a kind of a shade drawn over that. It's maybe what she felt was that her biggest claim to fame is Little House, and she just didn't want to, or felt she had to, discuss what happened after that. Or maybe she think people wouldn't be so interested. I would have been interested, because hello again, friends. Well, I'm afraid my phone battery died, so I'm coming back to you a little bit later on. Yes, I wish that she had gone on to talk more about her life, not just because of nosiness, although I am a little bit nosy, but because of the way she describes throughout the book, when she has a problem, how she would address that problem and deal with it. For example, she seems to have had a lot of issues with emotional pain and sadness, and very bad issues with her dad, who was an alcoholic, and she many times talks about seeking therapy and looking for answers. And I think, so often in life we just think, well, something's bad, we just have to we just have to sort of deal with it. Whereas Karen Gressle, she would go and look for answers and try and sort of do better and come up with a solution. She also is a feminist, and she describes in the book how, when she was riding the wave as Ma in Little House, she did a lot of talks, and she had access to get to know many influential people. And it's a bit heartbreaking, some of the things that she describes, and how some of the states in America really they won't put forward women's rights. Even the women in those states don't seem altogether convinced that they should put forward women's rights, and it's kind of a bit scary. But Karen Gressle clearly did the very best that she could to advance those rights, and I'm sure she continued working on that score. So also for that reason, I wish she'd gone on to talk a bit more about the rest of her life after the end of Little House on the Prairie. However, she may feel that's just, not our business and that's the end of it. In fact, that's probably what she did think. The rest of the book is just, as I say, so honest. Yeah, an amazing lady, and I completely recommend The Bright Lights, Prairie Dust. I've enjoyed, all the Little House actors that have brought out books. I've got many of them, and I'm sure I'll buy more. I've enjoyed all of them. They are a remarkable bunch of people, although Michael Landon was, not a perfect person, and quite alarmingly so, according to Karen Gressle. He picked good people. I mean, he knew how to find people with good character, and yeah. So anyway, lovely book, and now I'm probably going to head off to try and look for some of that secondhand furniture, the bedside tables and maybe some little side tables and whatnot. So I will see you later. Okay. Hello friends. Well, here you can see that this side of the fencing has now been done. There was a little gap left, so the old fence post has been screwed up over it temporarily till the new ones are coming till tomorrow. And then hopefully, we'll soon be completely replacing the fence post. So that's good. That fence has been making a terrible kind of listing sound with the wind, like kind of nyeh, 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 nyeh. And I've always been nervous if there was truly a big storm, they could have been ripped out and hit someone. So it's been a great relief to have that fixed up, so hooray. As you can imagine, at the end of this week, I'm not feeling too adventurous, though it's been a good week. I mean, there's been a lot to be grateful for here. I think today I'm going to go to some secondhand furniture shops. I could do with some little bedside drawers for my main bedroom, and that would be good. Like little bedside tables but with drawers in them. I think that would be good for my kind of knickety-knackety news. And no, not knicky-knacks, no, things I need, that they need to have a home, like my nail stuff and whatever. If I found some bedside drawers, that would be good. I'd probably try and grab those if they were reasonably priced. And maybe I'll go into another few shops and see what there is and try and take a bit of footage. Yeah, it's a rather bitty week this week, but I can only say that my life is coming together, and that's been really good. While we're here, why don't we pull another fairy card, because we've not done that for a few weeks. So my last one was called Release. Sometimes the only thing to do is to laugh or cry. It's up to you, and believe me, that's kind of been my life lately. It's been pretty full on. So we'll put that one to one side, and let me shuffle and get another one. Okay, this is good. Celebrate. The time is right to shout out loud. Don't hesitate to jump around. Well, I like that. I must say I am kind of coming to the end of a lot of my rather icky tidying up stuff, so, well, that suits me. If it's time to celebrate, I will take it. Thank you, fairy dust cards. Hello friends, well, I got back from the shops. As you'll have seen in that montage of footage, there was no furniture actually. The two furniture places that I went to were not open, but one of them had the kind of junk shop next to it open, so I looked in there, and I'm afraid I did buy some things. I completely forgot to mention when I got back from B&M Stores the other day, I did get one small autumn item, this little sort of fuzzy pumpkin. It was £1.50, but I thought that was just really kind of cute and cozy for autumn, so I got that. And then when I was at this junk shop today, I got first of all a spoon rest, and it says on it California. I think maybe it's supposed to be a decorative spoon rest, but I don't think I'd hang it up. I think I'd just have it, you know, beside the stove and have it as a spoon rest. But I really like the butterfly and the kind of 70s style of the California. So there you go. What's the back say? It says made in the USA. Okay. Treasure craft. Well, I think it's cute as a treasure. And I also got this empty sort of bottle because I do certainly intend I'm going to make some homemade remedies and sort of shampoo or something, and I will do it. I'm going to do it in the autumn. I will do that. So I got this empty bottle. I'll put it in the dishwasher and I will use that for one of my homemade thingamies, whatever they are. Okay, right. And finally I did get this sort of faux Victorian jug. I don't think it's really Victorian. I mean, maybe it's like 1960s pretending to be Victorian or whatever, but it's really quite pretty, and I got that. So I was a bit naughty. I certainly don't need more vases. Okay, the other things I can probably use. Let's have a sip of tea. Oops. Okay, now I might tomorrow morning first thing go off to those secondhand furniture shops, and if I do, I'll take a bit of footage and add it to my film. But if for some reason I can't go there tomorrow morning, then this could be, wow, that's a noisy motorbike. Okay, this could be the end of my posts for this week. It's been very bitty, I'm sorry. It's just an in-between week of me making quite big strides, but it's a bit boring, and yeah. I've got another of these matcha mochi bites that I showed you the other week, so I'm going to have one of those. And if it is the end, well, it will be the end because I would just be fitting in that footage. So thank you so much for watching again this latest vlog, and please, if you enjoyed it, do a like, make a comment, and tell me what I can do better. It is a bizarre week for me this week. It's not very interesting, but thank you for joining me, and I will see you on my next vlog. Bye bye.